Creating higher emotions and why this is one of the most crucial things, not just to understand, more to really get the point of it, yeah. And I want to bring up a few best practices based on the experience I recognized in years of working also with Dr. Joe and his teachings, and give you really an insight about how you can step by step get to the point where or what Dr. Joe is mentioning in his teachings or in his meditations. By the way, please be soft to me, because I'm from Austria and English is not my native speech. So if I'm maybe some point missing some words, be nice to me. Okay. Creating higher emotions and why this is so crucial and important point during your steps you take within your process. So, my experience. Basically, long years ago, I started with Dr. Joe, and I was really motivated, so really motivated to really just awake and now get things done and make and this one behind meditation. And I really dived into, yeah. So I grabbed all the books, all the teachings, all the meditations. I dived into it and I started to meditate. So a few things happened then. And why this is so important, because a lot of you recognize the same things. Very often I had the feeling like there is one sprouse missing of a ladder in Joe's teaching. I was feeling somehow there is something missing. Yeah, there is something missing in his words, maybe, or in his meditations. And not that I stopped then, I just did it again and again and again. And why this could be maybe not the best way is my experience. Yeah, and I tell you now why. And what higher emotions have to do with that. The point is following, and please really try to get this, because this is really the most important thing. I did really the most advanced meditations directly from the beginning. I digged into, and the point was, I really meditated a lot, really a lot. So really, I had a time around, let's say, 2.5 years where I really meditated, also mostly with Dr. Joe, about 3 to 4, 5 hours a day. So the point is following. Of course, this helped me in my process to get more understanding and so on, yeah, because I also read books then and so on and so on. But the point is, I not even get close much out of these 2.5 years, what could be possible, because I really respective. So when I look back, I really understood at some point I did it really very mechanically. Yeah. Yes, I did the meditation. Yes, my body was completely still, but at the end, I do not create higher emotions. And the irony is, of course, what I wanted to manifest was not even close to that optimum which would be possible in that kind of way. Yeah. So understand that. Yeah. It makes no sense to jump into advanced or very advanced meditations if really the base is missing, the base understanding is missing, or the base ability to feel the ability to feel is missing. Yeah, very important thing. Yeah, this is a thing mostly men have more problems with that, because women are from their normal and natural way of being there, they can easily feel things, yeah, and recognize things, yeah. So higher emotions, what are higher emotions? I give you now somehow my interpretation out of it. Yeah, what are higher emotions? Higher emotions are basically, yeah. Why is it not calling it just emotions? Yeah, it's pretty easy. Yeah, because emotions, like the collective or 80% of the world is naming it, this means an just automatically program which runs when it is triggered. So higher emotion is something you create. Doesn't matter what outside happens, yeah. It's a little bit extreme, but you get the point, yeah. So you create it out of you, and the normal emotions normally triggered from outside inside you and then jump out. Let's call it like this. So when it's about higher emotions, yeah, now how to create them, yeah, how to create some, I know, and really, I really feel you all, yeah, when you're saying, okay, but what does Joe means when he's talking about blessing everything for greater good and for oneness and for greater love and for unconditional love or whatsoever. You need to understand that Dr. Joe's meditations are really basically not for absolutely beginners, in my point of view. I mean, there are a few, but Dr. Joe's meditation are often, they're basically for persons who have some kind of experience already. Yeah. And they are studying also his books. It's very important. Yeah. So maybe you know the Atkins scala of frequencies. Yeah, there is hate, anger is really below, and then it goes up with happiness and so on. And at some point comes oneness and greater good and unconditional love. So keep that in mind. There is a scale, yeah, a frequency scale. So somewhere is just the normal, I'm okay. Somewhere is, oh, I'm feeling good. Somewhere is, I'm really feeling blessed. And somewhere is, okay, I'm in totally unconditional love. If you have challenges, yeah, creating or get a feeling out of these words from Dr. Joe, when Dr. Joe's saying something like, for the greater good or for the oneness or for the unconditional whatever, yeah, maybe you start a little bit below. And now I come to a point where I give you some advice based on my experience, how you can get step by step to that greater good or this feeling of greater good or oneness. Yeah. Basically, you can start with everything. Yeah. You can start with whatever flowers you like. You can smell on flowers and feel, You can talk with your spouse or with relationships, and maybe you feel, now I'm happy. Or you can read something and then you feel, I'm happy. Or maybe after some situation or a day you're feeling, oh, today I'm okay. Or something happens in your life and you feel, wow, this was outstanding. Or something else. The very important thing is that you anchor these feelings down in your body in your system. What does that mean? It's totally easy. Yeah, when you experience some kind of, let's say, positive feeling, and I'm not talking about unconditional love. I'm talking about you're feeling maybe just okay, or you're feeling happy. Then, during that moment, make it a habit to anchor it in your system. Maybe just close your eyes in that moment and, okay, this is the feeling happy. Okay. And this is now the anchor for your word of happy and yours. It's just yours. Maybe someday you have a really, really nice experience and happening in your life, and you're feeling, wow, this was so nice. This was so, And then again, you try to be conscious in that moment and maybe close your eyes and, okay, this is the feeling of wow, of really wow. And you anchor it. You anchor it. You remember that feeling in your body, in your system. And then you go on with the work. You go on with the work. And someday maybe you do a Dr. Joe meditation or some whatever else, yeah, and you experience for a glimpse maybe at beginning this feeling of unconditional love and compassion. And you're not just running over it, you really take 1 second and anchor it in your body, in your system. You anchor it. Why is this so important and crucial? And I would love to know this 10 years before, to be honest. Yeah, would be much, much quicker, yeah, I would say, if you would call it like this. Because when Dr. Joe is using some kind of words, yeah, like, and these are his words, these are not your words. You need to understand that. When he's using the words like, and now feel the greater good or the oneness or whatsoever, then you let arise the most highest feeling. If there is nothing coming, you can always take also just the picture of it. Okay, there was this picture of this happening, of this relationship, of this talk, of this book. Okay, and now the feeling comes. Okay. And when you're more experienced, you can put away that picture in your head. And there is just this feeling, yeah? And then you have already this feeling. And the next time you do the meditation, maybe you don't even need this picture in your head again to generate this feeling in your body, in your system. And then you just need to close your eyes and you directly, if Dr. Joe maybe says something in his meditations, you directly have access to that emotion. And you always are open to even more. This is also very crucial. You are always open to even more. Yeah, because there is lots more. And this is how you can, how can I say, step by step get into this process of generating higher emotions when you, like me, for years I just did it mechanically, the meditations, and I don't even recognize it in that moment when I'm performing it. This is just reflective what I'm telling you, yeah? But this is so crucial because all of this work, all of the meditations, all of the healing stories, all of the generating abundance or money or healing or whatsoever, the most important thing is always the feeling of it, the feeling of it, the energy of it, the frequency of it. And the point is, and this is also why it's so important to always, to regularly perform the meditation or the work, let's say, because there is no there is no end for that. At least I don't recognize it. Yeah, it's always more possible, always higher emotions possible. It's always there is always more. Yeah. So I hope you really get it, what I wanted to tell you. Yeah. So this is really for everybody who has problems or challenges with generating higher emotions or has challenges to somehow understand, because it's not about understanding, this is the irony, what Dr. Joe means with some kind of words, and words such as symbols. You know that from Dr. Joe also, yeah? The point is always you need to infuse, let's say, the words from Dr. Joe always with also with your interpretation of these feelings, with your interpretation of what oneness means. And you think we are talking about the same when I tell you, I created oneness, the feeling of oneness. And you saying, oh yes, Rene, I also created the feeling of oneness in my system. Then I can guarantee you we are not talking about the same. We are 100% not talking about the same. And this is absolutely not important. This is the most important thing. So don't compare yourself with each other. Yeah, it's also very crucial in this process. Yeah. So go step by step. Yeah, you and be just good with you. Yeah, it's absolutely okay if you're not directly at the first time or at the second time or at the third time or at the 20th time you do a meditation of Joe, directly feel this feeling of oneness. And I wish it to you that you feel it at the first time. But it's absolutely okay when you don't feel it. So be good to you. Yeah, it's not really at the end about feeling it. It's about just the intention to be open to receive that feeling. And you will receive it. Believe it to me. You will. You will. Trust me. Everybody from you will. Just be consistent in the work. Just be consistent in the meditations you do, yeah? And be good to you. And don't compare you with others. You are doing great. I know it. So I hope this small video, okay, it's 18 minutes, helped you at least to a little bit more get a feeling about it, what it really means, and how you can start to generate higher emotions in this process. All the best.